As we empower every organization on the planet to achieve more, what's important for the telcos is that we provide the needed capabilities for them to focus on business outcomes.
We bring the platform to enable them to do more. We bring partner ecosystem to help them engage and be able to expand their portfolio of offerings.
Microsoft is simply an enabling agent to help them get there.
Hi, this is Mark Newman from Team Forum. Delighted to be joined today by Shawn Hakl. Shawn, who manages Microsoft's 5G business. And Shawn and I have just been involved in the second of our CXO Summits here at DTWS, focusing on all things cloud native. So the how, what, why, where, and when of cloud native. So hi, Shawn, how you doing?
Hey, great. How are you?
Good, thank you. So, Shawn, a large part of the session that we ran with you was looking at some of the work that you're doing with AT&T, and we had Dorota in the session as well. And you know, you went into some really interesting, you went into some detail actually in the end in terms of precisely how your partnership with AT&T is working, and just thinking about what those benefits are in terms of that partnership. And how you can genuinely help AT&T to derive business benefits from moving to a cloudified 5G core.
Yeah, I mean, again, we had a great discussion about sort of the flexibility and agility that got created by freeing up their resources to focus more on sort of the 5G application layer and the 5G packet core, and really leaving the infrastructure and the platform layer to us, which is where we place a great deal of our investment. And then, I think AT&T has been an early market leader in the space in terms of early virtualization leaders, early sort of DIY, do-it-yourself infrastructure, and I think they've reached a logical point in in the development of their platform where it made more sense to hand it off to someone who was going to take that and apply it across more than just AT&T, so that they got the benefit of the ongoing innovation and investment in that layer. And then I think they also recognize that infrastructure isn't where they're going to compete, right? It's that service layer and that service experience and the agility that they could put in their business. This enabled. And that's just good for the entire industry in getting to a more efficient underlying operating model and more efficient architecture. And so it was a good discussion, and I'm glad Dorota chose to share a lot of AT&T's thinking there.
And it's interesting, isn't it? Because we've always seen AT&T as being a pioneer and one of the sort of first operators out there to virtualize its network, and it set itself these ambitious sort of year-on-year targets. And that was some time ago, wasn't it? This sort of journey to NFV and SDN started. And I think we've learned a lot as we've gone along. And I think one thing that both you and Dorota said was that you learn by trying things and experimenting, trying to do things better. And and in terms of what you've ended up with in that relationship with AT&T, it seems to be a relationship where where they've shifted some of the sort of heavy duty lifting, if you like, onto you, but they've retained control, haven't they? So I guess getting that balance right is pretty important.
Yeah, and listen, we want to come into this humble. This is a new space for Microsoft. We want to be able to listen. Having a partner like AT&T, who we have a lot of alignment with in terms of the way we view the strategy for the market unrolling, the way that we view the benefit to the industry unrolling, has been fantastic. But also, yeah, the short answer is listen, the hyperscaler is never going to run a network as well as an operator. That's not their business. Yeah. They're good at providing infrastructure at scale and providing the platform on which you can build an open interoperable ecosystem. And that's what we're focused on. And then taking the lessons in, the real life lessons learned, the real practical issues with performance, observability, security that come from deploying containerized network functions in a telco environment for a network that supports tens of millions of subscribers and eventually hundreds of millions of subscribers is a big benefit. And so we're very, very happy with our partnership with AT&T, and obviously all of the folks, the intellectual property, as well as the people we're able to bring over, as well as our ongoing work with AT&T, which I think will help us learn a lot.
And what I think is particularly interesting is if we go back, 2-3 years, we talked about cloud native. That was a term that we applied particularly to the IT function, and I think telcos could see a movement towards cloud native in their IT. I guess it's a lot newer on the network side, and this idea of using public cloud for some network functions is a pretty new development. But I guess the good thing here is we do have a standardization framework with the work of 3GPP that helps with that. And I think, the people that dialed into the session, we had Rupa Savanish from Telenor. I sense that the network and taking the network cloud native is actually on a lot of people's agenda right now. They might not be doing, they're certainly thinking about it. And I think you've seen that change too in the work that you do.
Yeah. So if you'd asked me this question 18 months ago, I would have told you it was going to take a little bit longer. But obviously, with the relationship the announcement we've made with AT&T, some of the other announcements in the industry, there's certainly people moving forward pretty aggressively in this front. I will also say that we're seeing both formalized procurement activity in this space with a fair number of operators, both tier 1, tier 2 sized operators, as well as a lot of sort of informal strategy discussions. In all honesty, I think that this is in the stage right now where I think strategy is sort of approaching as a strategic transformation and really engaging between the parties in a true partnership model versus trying to buy an off-the-shelf product is about the stage we're in right now. The formalized procurement process will come. It's just probably not quite that stage at the state of the industry right now. More of it's figuring out, as I said, it's a lot of listening and a lot of designing back and forth about how the culture is going to change, how the practices are going to change, how operations and procedures are going to change, and to accommodate sort of both the needs of traditional telco as well as taking advantage of the future sort of cloud native approach to designing things. And that's going to do some give and take between the web scalers and the operators. And I'm looking forward to that. That's the exciting part. That's where so much of the industry grows. That's where a lot of the excitement and finding new ways to do things comes in.
And I guess the interesting thing is that now 5G is upon us and we're moving to 5G standalone. We're talking about edge and public MEC and private MEC that, operators, there is a certain amount of pressure on operators to make decisions and to be confident with strategies. It means that they can leverage those capabilities because I think an awful lot of the reason why telcos like working with companies like Microsoft is the fact that you have that broad enterprise knowledge which they can tap into.
Yeah, and we're super excited about the possibilities. The next generation of content forms are going to get developed on 5G. The next generation of business architectures, not just IT systems, but OT, operational technology systems, all have the possibility to be built on 5G. And if we do this right together, this is all about supersizing the pie. It's not about moving share of market 10% in one direction or the other. It's all about making sure that pie grows dramatically. And we saw that, right? We saw that with 4G. 4G caused an explosion in growth, not just for the mobile subscriber itself, but the app ecosystem around it. We anticipate that same explosion of growth taking place with 5G, and we want to make sure that as good partners that we all, that a rising tide floats all boats, and I think that's going to be super, super interesting.
Yeah, thanks, Shawn. I mean, I think the session. I think my takeaways from it were there's a huge amount of excitement now. I think maybe saying with optimism. There's quite a lot of optimism actually as well, and I think people don't underestimate the fact it's going to be a major challenge to make this happen, but I think the potential there's a direction of travel there, which I think people should be excited about. So, Shawn, thanks for your time today. Thanks very much for contributing to the session. Really enjoyed it and hope to speak to you again soon.
Great forum, great guests. I really appreciate having a chance to talk with you and the great team of CXOs that you put together for that event.